In our previous lecture, we discussed quantum teleportation. And in the quantum teleportation procedure, we saw that the original state of the quantum system is destroyed before it's recreated at a different location. Today, we're going to discuss a no-cloning theorem. So that basically says that it is not possible to construct a quantum photocopier. So that is, if we have an unknown quantum state, we cannot clone it. So create an identical copy of this state. Of course, if the quantum state is known, then it can be cloned. So we can recreate known quantum state as many copies as we wish. But if the quantum state is unknown, then there is no way of precisely measuring what that state is without destroying it. And as we're going to see today, it's not possible to take an unknown state and make two copies of that unknown state. Now, let us discuss how a hypothetical quantum photocopier could possibly work. All right, so what we need in such a device is input, right? So we need some space of states, so V in, where we're going to store our input. So we also need to create output. And so let's call this space of states V out. When we have some sort of a computing device, not only we need to allocate memory for input and output, but we also might need some auxiliary memory for intermediate computations. And so let us allocate some space of states, Vox, for such purposes. And then the joint space of states for this machine is going to be the tensor product of these three states. And so how this hypothetical photocopier will work? So it will work in the following way. So suppose we have the original state where we put some unknown input state phi. So then tensor product. We initialize the state of the output memory to some state theta, and we initialize our auxiliary memory to some state mu, right? So here, so we presume that everything is normalized to 1. So we have norm of phi equals to norm of theta, and is equal to norm of mu, and is equal to 1. And so what is the final state of this photocopier should be? So the final state is, so basically our goal is to duplicate a known input state phi. So the final state should be phi, tensor phi, so another copy of this state, right? So now this happens in output memory. Tensor product, so with some kind of final state of auxiliary memory, so let's call this tau, and to indicate that this may depend on phi, let's put tau phi here. Now, so this transformation, so we say that evolution of quantum systems happens with unitary transformations. So this means that here we are trying to see if there is a unitary transformation that will transform this into this state, right? And here we can say, well, because this transformation is unitary, it preserves the length of vectors. So this means that this final state also should have norm 1. And since we know that phi and theta and phi has norm 1, so this tells us that here the norm of tau phi must also be 1, right? So that the overall norm is preserved. Now, the question is, so can we find a unitary transformation U that will transform all vectors of this form, right? So here theta and mu are fixed, but phi varies, right? So phi here is an arbitrary input of norm 1. So that so can we have a unitary transformation that transforms all of these states into states of this form? And so the theorem that we want to prove is that quantum copier does not exist. Now, to prove this theorem, we're going to take two input states. So phi and psi. So this is in V input, right? Both of norm 1. Now, maybe let us denote this vector as V phi, right? So here theta and mu are fixed, and it only depends on phi. Now, so for unitary transformations, so we have the following property, that unitary transformations preserve scalar product. So because of this, we must have that if we take scalar product between V phi and V psi, this must be equal to the scalar product between U V phi and U V psi. Now let us compute both sides of this equality. So if we take V phi with V psi, so this equals, now, so here is our expression for this. So we have phi tensor mu, theta tensor mu, with psi tensor theta tensor mu. So this equals to phi with psi times theta with theta times mu with mu. And because theta and mu have norm 1, so this simply simplifies to the scalar product of phi with psi. So now let us look at the right-hand side. So in the right-hand side, we have u v phi, right? And this is what we have. So this is u applied to v phi, right? And u v psi. So what we're going to have is phi tensor tau phi with psi tensor psi tensor tau psi. And so what this becomes, it becomes phi with psi squared times tau phi with tau psi. Now, let us recall Cauchy inequality. Which is valid in Hermitian spaces. So Cauchy inequality says that the absolute value of the scalar product of u and w is less or equal to norm of u times norm of w. So from here, so what we can say is, so this implies that the norm of Hermitian product tau phi with tau psi, or the absolute value, right, is less or equal to 1, right? So because here we have condition that the norm of tau phi and also of the tau psi is equal to 1. And so then if we assume that the absolute value of the scalar product of phi with psi is strictly less than 1, and maybe strictly positive, right? So non-zero, but less than 1. So for most vectors, this is the case. So this will tell us that the absolute value of the right-hand side, so phi with psi squared times tau phi with tau psi, is strictly less than the absolute value of phi with psi. All right. So if this is less than 1 and this is less or equal to 1, then we get this inequality. And so this tells us that the left-hand side cannot possibly have the right-hand side, because the absolute value of the right-hand side is strictly lower than the absolute value of the left-hand side. And this gives us a contradiction. So, and this proves that there is no unitary transformation that will transform vectors of this form into vectors of this form uniformly over all possible inputs phi of norm 1. So such a unitary transformation does not exist, and this means that a quantum photocopier cannot be built. So our conclusion is that quantum information cannot be copied. Well, unless its state is known. So when we do classical computations, so with our ordinary computers, so copying data is a very common procedure. So let us see that there is no contradiction between this claim that quantum information can be copied and the reality that we copy classical information. So what we want to say is classical information can be copied in quantum setting. So let us explain what do we mean by this. Now, let's consider an example of a copier where so V input and V output is so 1 qubit. And so here we are not going to take auxiliary memory at all. So this means that we're going to operate on 2 qubit states. And so let's consider the bases in our 2 qubit space. And so let's consider the following transformation. 0, 0 goes to 0, 0. Then 0, 1 goes to 0, 1. 1, 0 goes to 1, 1. And 1, 1 goes to 1, 0. So what we see is this transformation permutes the standard basis vectors. And because of this, so it sends standard basis into an orthonormal basis. So this transformation U is unitary. Now, So suppose we look at the original state where input state is x and output state is 0, right? So where x is either 0 or 1, right? So how does transformation u changes this state? Well, if x is equal to 0, then this goes to 0, 0. And if x is equal to 1, then this goes to 1, 1. So what we see is that this input state will go to the state x tensor x. Right? So if x is equal to 0, then this says that 0, 0 goes to 0, 0. And if x is equal to 1, so this says that 1, 0 goes to 1, 1. And that's what we have in this unitary transformation. So what we can see is that this unitary transformation succeeds in copying classical value of the bit, right? So if we had kind of input bit here, then it replicates it in the output memory. But so this copier, so in this way we constructed the copier of one classical bit, and this is done with a unitary transformation. So this is a copier of a classical information, but note that this does not copy quantum bits. So let's see. So what would be copying quantum bits? For quantum bits, here we will need to input arbitrary linear combinations of 0 and 1. So this means that we need to put a times 0 plus b times 1, right? And the initial state of the output memory is 0. Now, what will happen to this state if we apply this transformation u? So by linearity, well, what is this? So this is a times 0, 0 plus b times 1, 0. And a times 0, 0 goes to a times 0, 0. And b times 1, 0 goes to b times 1, 1. But so this is the new state that we obtain. But this is not copying, because the copying would presume that we have a times 0 plus b times 1 tensor with a times 0 plus b times 1, right? And what we see is that these two things are not the same. So what we obtain is that this process will copy classical information, but will not copy quantum information. And so this is the reality of this theorem. So this means that cloning unknown quantum information is not possible.